Hey everyone, so today we're going to work on graphing quadratics in standard form. So your objective is that you will be able to graph quadratic equations in standard form. So in this video, we are going to go through how to do that. I'm going to give you two different ways to do it, and I'll give you two examples of each, and you can decide which one you like better. It doesn't matter to me which one you use, and we'll do examples in class too. So the first way is that you first find the vertex, which we did last lesson. So just as a reminder, you use x equals negative b plus 2a to find your x value of the vertex. Then you plug that value into the original equation or into this bx over 2 plus c. So that's what we focused on last class. Then once you do that, you can make a table. So you're going to choose a point to the left or right of the vertex. So let's say your vertex was x equals 2 and you got like 2 comma 3. Then to the left and right would be x equals 1 and x equals 3. So you could choose either one of those and plug it in for x in your original equation and solve for y to get some more points. So then you'll use your axis of symmetry to find the point on the other side, and you can keep repeating this. Then you're going to connect your points and draw your parabola. So an example of doing it this way. First, we want to find our vertex. So we are going to use x equals negative b over 2a. So our negative b is positive 8 over 2 times 1. We get 8 divided by 2 is 4. So then we can plug this back in. So I'm going to choose to plug it back into the bx over 2 plus c. So negative 8 times 4 over 2 plus 12. So we get negative 16 plus 12 gives us negative 4. So our vertex is at 4, negative 4. So I'm going to plot this. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Our vertex is right here. If your sign in front of your a value here is positive, your parabola will open up. If it's negative, it will open it down. So next we're going to make a table. So we have our x and our y. We already know 4, negative 4. So now I'm going to choose 3, and I'll plug it back in. I already used purple. Let's use green. So 3. So we have y equals 3 squared minus 8 times 3 plus 12. So we get 9 minus 24 plus 12. So it gives us negative 3. So we go 3, negative 3. So in our instructions, it says use the axis of symmetry, which goes through the vertex, to find your next point. So we count 1 away from the axis of symmetry, so we're going to count 1 to this side. So that is your new point. And then let's just say we want to do it again. I'll choose a new color. Plug in 2. So we get, I'm just going to erase this green right here. So we got y equals 2 squared minus 8 times 2 plus 12. 4 minus 16 plus 12. Negative 12 plus 12 gives us 0. So our point is 2, 0. And then using your axis of symmetry, your 2 spaces from the axis of symmetry, so you count 2 this way. And now we can, I just erased everything. But we had our point here. So then you can just draw it. And that's your parabola. So you're only really plugging in 2 extra numbers here because you're going to use your axis of symmetry to find the other ones. So let's look at this one. We're going to solve this one the same way. So to find our vertex, you do x equals negative b. So opposite sign of b is positive 12 over 2 times a is 2 here. So we get 12 divided by 4 gives us 3. Then I'm going to plug that back into our bx negative 12 times 3, divide by 2 plus 21, gives us negative 18 plus 21 is positive 3, so our vertex is 3, 3. So I'm going to go ahead and graph that, and we know that our axis of symmetry is right through this point. Again, this one is positive, so it will be opening up. Now let's make a table. So for xy, we have 3, 3, so I'll choose 2. So let's plug in 2 to our original equation. So we have 2 squared is 4 times 2 is 8 minus 24 plus 21. So now we just solve that. So we get y equals 5. So we're going to go to 2, 5, and it's one space from the vertex, or the axis of symmetry, so we move 1 to the other side. And then I'm going to choose to plug in 1. And I will change my color here. I'm going to erase this last work again. So now we're going to plug in 1 to find another point. So 1 squared minus 12 times 1 plus 21. So we get 1 squared is 1 times 2 is 2 minus 12 plus 21. So 2 minus 12, negative 10 plus 21 gives us positive 11. So our newest point is 111. It'll be right off, but we count over 2, and that's our new point. Then you just connect them to draw your parabola. So again, we only plugged in 2 points back into the equation. So this is our first way of how you can graph quadratics. You first find your vertex and then plug in 2 points and use your axis of symmetry to find 2 more points. Your second option, it's going to sound confusing, but when we do our example, it'll make more sense. So you have the same first step in both. You find your vertex and plug it in to find the y value and plot it. Then we are going to use our ax squared, so your first term of your ax squared plus bx plus c, and you'll plug in 1 and 2 and see what you get. So you'll move 1 space to the left and right of the vertex, and then up or down whatever value comes out of here. Then 2 spaces to the left and right, and up and down whatever value comes out. So I know that sounds confusing, so let's just go through this. First, find our vertex. So x equals opposite of b over 2 times a. So we get 8 divided by negative 2 is negative 4. I'm going to plug that back into our bx divided by 2 plus c, so negative 8 times negative 4 divided by 2 minus 12. So we got positive 32 divided by 2 is 16 minus 12 gives us 4. So our vertex is negative 4, comma 4. So I'm going to plot that point. So that's our vertex. So now I said I'm going to grab a different color, use this a x squared, so our a is negative 1. We're going to plug in 1. So we get negative 1 squared. So 1 squared is positive 1, and then times negative 1 is negative 1. So moving from this vertex, we go over 1 because that's what we plugged in, then down 1 because that's what our answer was. Over 1 this way and down 1 because that was what our answer was. Now I'm going to plug in 2. So I get 2 squared is 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. So now from your vertex, you're moving over 2 and then down 4 since that was your answer. Over 2 and down 4. And then you can draw your parabola. And again, since this negative sign was in front, our parabola opened downwards. And we're going to do another example like this. So first find your vertex. So x equals opposite of b over 2a. 12 divided by 4 gives us 3. Negative b times 3 divided by 2 plus 22. Ooh, hopefully this is on there. Negative 18 plus 22 equals 4. So our vertex is 3, comma 4. So I'm going to go ahead and graph that. And then choose to plug in 1 to your ax squared. So 2 times 1 squared is 1, times 2 is 2. So you move over 1 to both sides and then up 2, since that was what your answer was. Over 1 and up 2. Then I'm going to plug in 2. So 2 times 2 squared. 2 squared is 4, times 2 is 8. So since we plugged in 2, we move over 2 and up 8, since that's our answer. So it's 2 off the graph, but then over 2 and up 8 this way. And draw your line, so that is your parabola. So these are the two different ways that you can graph a quadratic when it's in standard form. So I don't care which way you choose, you can choose either way. And then we will practice more in class. Come to class with any questions that you have, and we'll practice.